Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. I am joined by Dan from Headrush and we are looking at the new Headrush Gigboard. It is a new compact stripped down version of the Headrush pedal board, featuring all of the same sounds, great sounds and features that you will be familiar with from the previous model, but shaving down the physical format of this to make it a little bit more pedal board friendly and maybe be aimed slightly more at those of you that intend to use this with an amp. So yeah, we're going to dive into this and take a closer look. Dan's going to guide us through it and see what we can find. Cool, right, so we flipped to the overhead camera now just to give you guys a close-up look of the Gigboard. Just for reference, I've got a tube screamer here. Thought I'd just do that so you can see how this might look up against some of the other pedals, just to see the size of this. If you're familiar with the Headrush pedal board, it was a significantly bigger unit. So there you go. Right, Dan, we'll assume that we don't know much about this and let you kind of take us through, I guess, firstly, how you might build a sound on the Gigboard.
Cool. So yeah, it is exactly the same as the pedal board for those of you who know of the pedal board, but if you don't, we'll just show you very quickly how to create a rig.
Cool. Okay then, so we're going to assume that we don't know our way around this. The process is pretty much the same as with the Headrush pedal board, but we'll just guide you through how to build a basic rig, I think.
Yeah, so it's really straightforward. What kind of amp shall we go for today?
We'll go something kind of classic. I've got a Telecaster here, so let's go like a Vox AC30.
Okay, cool. So tap on any slot and brings up your list of effects. If we go into the amps, then you will see we have a really big selection, so everything from Fenders through to more Marshally stuff and high gain. But let's go for this AC high boost.
Cool. Sounds cool.
And you'll see it's automatically added a 2x12 next to it that it thinks will complement that head.
Yeah.
Now if we want to go in and change any of the parameters on it, we can just double tap, and then by sliding around on the screen we can change. Cool, and then yeah, maybe we should add some reverb and delay to give it a bit of space.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's go for a play.
You guys will notice how easy it is to tweak this. That was, for me, the best selling feature of the Headrush pedal board was the touchscreen. And the nice thing is the touchscreen is exactly the same size, so you haven't lost any clarity or ease of use when you jump down to the Gigboard here. It just makes tweaking patches, building sounds so easy. You can literally just drag and drop these things into place. So, bit of echo and reverb. Really cool.
And then if we decided maybe actually we want to have those effects in the kind of effects loop of the amp,
yep,
we can just drag and drop the cab to the end, as simple as that. And then yeah, if we wanted to say maybe a bit of distortion just to push it a little bit, again, very, very simple to do. So now we've got some effects on the board, I guess we probably should change how the switches are laid out.
Yeah, okay.
To make it a bit more useful when we're playing with this.
Yeah.
So we have a few different view modes, and to start with, if we go into Stompbox mode, you'll see it has all the effects laid out on the switches, in the order that I added them. But we might not probably want to turn off the amp or cab, so I can get rid of those. If I come into our hardware sign, I can just click on here, and instead of having the cab there, I can have the distortion pedal.
Cool.
So yeah, now I have the three effects I want on 2, 3 and 4. And what we can do with switch 1, which is really cool, is add a scene. So if I toggle at the bottom here, it brings up what we call a scene. And then I can go in there, it shows me everything that's on the board, and I can say whether I want things to be turned on or off. And then if I go back, I can call this, say, rhythm. and then whenever I hit that switch, it just has the amplifier on, and everything else gets turned off.
So it's more like, yeah, saving all of those changes to one button. So you kick number one, and it does multiple things at once.
Yeah, which is really useful, especially with the gig board, because obviously we only have 4 switches. So you need to really think about how you're going to use them.
Yeah.
And you could either have 4 scenes on here if you wanted, so you could have like a rhythm, a drive, and a lead.
Yeah.
Or you could just have them set up to be 4 different individual effects. Another way of looking at the switches, if you don't want to be turning on and off effects, and you just want to work with presets, is to go into Rig View. And now we have the different presets on switches 1 and 2, and we can bank up and down our set list using switches 3 and 4. So it's really easy to just jump between different presets.
Let's just have a listen to that. So if I'm on one, nice.
And then we have a third and final way of looking at it, which is hybrid. So hybrid gives you kind of the best of both worlds. You can go up and down between your rigs on switches 3 and 4, and then switches 1 and 2 can either be set up as an effect, or they can be scenes. So you can get quite a lot done with this app.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool, very cool. So in terms of what's changed between the two, obviously there's things that we've lost. We were talking before about the expression pedal.
Yes.
That was on the is on the pedal board. That's one thing that clearly you've lost from this.
Yeah, so there isn't a physical expression pedal with the gig board. However, on the back we have an input for an external expression pedal. So you can still use an expression pedal. As you'll see in our hardware assign, we still have the expression pedal section over here.
Cool. So you can, because the on the pedal board it could do all manner of things. It can control like every different parameter under the sun. So you can still do that?
Yeah, you can do it all from in here. You can either just set up a standard kind of expression pedal like a wah or a whammy, or you can come in here and we can just assign effects to an expression pedal. So if I wanted to have the feedback of my delay, it's as simple as that. And I can go in, say exactly what range I want it to control. And then if you want to get a little bit more exciting with what you're doing, you can put it into advanced mode and have up to 4 effects being controlled with one pedal. And you can get some really cool sounds with that. And
you can still do all of the customization. So you guys, you can see there's coloured labels that you can use here, and they correspond to the buttons on the switches, the lights on the switches.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, you can change all of them, and with here you'll see you can have all your different effect names, and you can change those as well. So if you didn't want that to say JRC OD, you could just have distortion or something there instead. Completely customizable then, I guess. Should we just have a listen to a couple of sounds? Yeah. If there's some presets on there. I guess the key thing is to just state again that the brain unit, the sounds are the same. So although there's a price difference between the two boards, it's really just a choice for you, more choice for you now in terms of what hardware you want. Sound quality is exactly the same between the two. Yep. Cool. I just needed to use the tuner there, and again I'm just going to show this. Hold that down and you've got the same really great tuner, which you can choose to mute or unmute the signal, which is really cool, because so many multi-effects units, I see guys with a multi-effects unit on their board and they still have to buy a separate tuner because the screen's too small or it's just too hard to use. But this, I don't think it gets much clearer than that guy. So little thing, but very, very useful. Nice to see that still on there. So clearly does the mid-gain crunchy stuff. We just loaded up a clean patch here that seems to have quite a lot of processing on there. We've got some chorus and compression and stuff. Let's just take a listen to that.
loads of stuff on there, and I guess we should look at something that is the opposite end of the spectrum as well. And
yeah, let's go for this one.
Not sure it's what this 52 telly was intended for, but those sounds are on there. So two features which we haven't mentioned yet that were both on the pedal board. Firstly, the looper.
Yes.
It's a big thing these days. If you can just take us through how the looper works on this guy.
Sure, so if I hold down switch 3, it gets me into the looper. We've got 20 minutes of recording time, and that can be up to 100 different layers, so there's plenty of space for looping for as long as you want. And then once you're in there, you can record, you can overdub, you can change the speed, change the length, you can change the mix. Obviously with this we've only got the 4 switches, so some of those features you have to use the screen to get to. Like on here, if I wanted to change the mix, I can come up there and then using the encoder just change that. But you still have every single feature that is on the larger pedal board still on the unit, so you're not losing out.
Very cool. And there was I see it labelled on there, the hands-free feature, which again, that with the touchscreen was definitely my favourite features of the pedal board, because it just made tweaking and editing so easy. But the hands-free on the other one really relied on that expression pedal. So how does it work on this one?
Yeah, so with this, obviously, you don't have the expression pedal built in. If you've got one attached externally, then you can still use it like you would on the pedal board. But if you don't have one, don't worry. We can get through our different effects here. When we're on the effect we want to change, I can go and say, right, I want to change the level of my distortion. Now by holding switch 1 down, I will reduce the level. If I hold switch 2, it will.
Really cool. So you can just, if you're at a gig and you just want to make a change on the fly, you don't have to bend down and start tweaking away. You can literally just do it with your feet, which is, yeah, very cool feature. Another thing which definitely I can see this being used for, now that it's got that smaller footprint, a great recording tool because it's more desktop friendly.
Definitely. It's perfect size for sitting on a desk next to your laptop. With the touchscreen, it makes everything super easy to control and alter, so you can just plug in via the USB, record up to 96 kilohertz audio, so you're getting real high quality audio.
Yeah.
And you can also record the DI from when you're playing.
Yeah, we should say, I don't know if I said that at the beginning, I can't remember, we are running everything direct today, so the sounds you're hearing are the same sounds that would be sent straight to front of house for PA, or straight into your recording software for recording. So it's good to go, a real immediate setup to just sit down and start tracking, which is great. And we mentioned in the start of this video that certainly the size of this pedal is going to kind of see it featured on more pedal boards, and I guess therefore used with amps. This is an amp modeler, but you don't have to use amp modeling if you don't want, which is nice. You can kind of just use effects processing. And you were saying earlier that this can do channel switching.
Yes, it can. So on the back, we've added an external amp switcher, so you can connect this up to your amp. You can change channel, turn reverb on and off, that kind of thing. And we've still got an effects loop on there, so you can run, say, the 4-cable method with your amp, integrate it within the chain, and then have effects before and after it. So it's perfect for using with an amp if you want, or any of your existing kind of pedals. Maybe you've got a favourite distortion you want to run with it.
Yeah. You can, just like the old one, you can literally build it into that chain there, and then you could just drag your amp and move it around and listen to where it's going to sound best, like, you know, pedals before it, effects after it, and so on. And the same with some of the other pedals. So totally customizable in terms of how you intend to use this. Use it as a standalone unit, use it with other pedals, use it with other pedals and an amp. Yeah, just crazy flexible, and yeah, I guess a more affordable price point than the bigger unit, which is great because if you don't need those extra features that the big one offers, you're not losing out on sounds here. You're just saving some cash. Cool, well there you have it guys. That was a closer look at the new Headrush Gigboard. Thanks to Dan for coming down today and taking us through that, and we'll see you in the next video.